going to have a dirty job today. I've decided, since I've got my garden work caught up and the mowing caught up and the housework is all caught up, I'm going to clean the gourds. So I'm going to put them in a bucket of water to let them soak for the afternoon. Put all the moldy gourds in this big bucket, and I'm going to fill it up with water and let them soak until later this afternoon. I'm going to put wet towels over top of them just to hold them down, and something to weight it to hold them down in the water. Well, the sun is going down, and I came out, I almost forgot about the gourds. So I've been busy today, and so I'm going to try to get these scrubbed up before the sun actually goes down. Using a steel wool pad helps them come right off all of that mold. It's not taking much elbow grease at all. It's coming right off. So you can see how that cleaned up pretty nice compared to what it was to begin with. So I think I've got about a dozen of these to clean, so I will get busy. Okay, one batch is cleaned, and I've got about 2 more batches to go. I think there's 19 more to be cleaned, and I've cleaned 9 today, so that means I had 28 gourds from last year's garden. Okay, all of last year's gourds are now washed and cleaned and laying here on the trailer to dry. These will be great to craft with the kiddos this coming fall. And they can make birdhouses or dippers or bowls, or even this one could make a little duck. Put some feet on it and a beak. That would decorate up real pretty. So every fall in October at Boones Creek Historical Trust, they put on what is called Gourd Fest. And Miss Vicki Shell, who is Vice President of the Historical Trust, teaches that class. And it's a workshop, really. You get to pick out the gourd you want to work with, and then she has all the supplies available, and you just let your imagination run wild. And it's amazing the different things that people end up with at the end of the day. So I'm going to insert some pictures here of some of the beautiful gourd art that Vicki does to give you an example of what you can do with gourds. This is a update on the garden. It's been 3 weeks since I had it completely done, but of course I had the potatoes out before then. I think I planted these potatoes in April, mid-April, on these 2 rows. And they are growing amazingly well, and they're starting to put blooms on. And you can see how healthy they are. Nothing is eating on the leaves. The next 2 rows, they've been out for about 3 weeks. And so the first 2 rows had a good jump start before I got the last 2 rows planted. And they're doing well. My tomatoes and peppers and cucumbers are all still doing really good. That one is blooming now. Of course, I still have my electroculture in the garden. And this is one that had the tomato on it. Just a little thing, but it's already got a tomato. There's tomato on that one and still blooming. And the same all down the row. This one has 2 tomatoes. Today is June the 3rd, and this is the 3rd week that I have these tomatoes planted. So, all the way down the row there's tomatoes, and I moved my grow bags to the end of the garden down here. This is the beets that's coming up, and they're growing really good. The electroculture rod is in here. I did sow some more seed because it just seemed like they came up on 1/2 of the container. So the other seed have not come up yet. The cucumbers are standing tall. This grow bag is carrots, doing very well. The green beans are all doing good. This grow bag is the 3 sweet potato slips I had that I set out, and they're growing. This is where I reseeded my bushel gourds about a week ago, and I still see no evidence of any coming up. Of course, there's my electroculture pole on this end of the garden. I reseeded bushel gourd seed here a week ago, and still no evidence of any coming up. I planted originally 2 seeds here of the bushel gourd, and only 1 plant came up, but I'm thankful to have this 1 plant. So, I hope I'm doing this right. Vicki Shell told me that watch the gourds when they come up, that when the first, what did she call it? The sprout or something, is the male sprout, and all the females shoot out from it. So you let the male sprout grow as long as you want it to grow, and then cut it. or else it will just keep growing and all the nutrients will keep going to that one main male sprout. But if you cut it, then the nutrients will go to the shoots off from it for the females. And I'm not sure I identified it right, but when it first sprouted, it was just this leaf and this leaf sprouted together. Then this leaf came up in the middle. So I'm assuming this is the male shoot. That's what I think she called it. So I tagged it with this little grass rope. I tied it loosely around it so it wouldn't choke it and still has room to grow in there. So I can identify which is the male. And I'll have to send this to Vicki to see if I did it right. Since then, there's been more little shoots growing here. So, anyway, that is the bushel gourd plant that's coming up. And then, this is the zucchinis. My electroculture rod. 4 zucchini plants, 4 squash plants. And I set this old flower pot here with some good soil in it, and I went ahead and put more bushel gourd seed in it this morning, so we'll see if they will sprout. Well, Joe is having a birthday, so I've already made a birthday cake this weekend that we shared with some friends that we went out to eat with. So when I made that cake, you had to use only egg whites. So I had egg yolks that I needed to do something with. So I found the recipe for a Portuguese custard tart. So I thought I'd make that. And Joe's ancestry a lot is from Portugal. So I thought, well, this will be interesting to make. So to start with, I've put in 2/3 cup of water, and let me see here, make sure I'm telling you right. 2/3 cup of water, 1 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, 1 large cinnamon stick, and the rind of 1 large lemon cut into strips. And I'm going to bring that to a boil, and then I'll reduce the heat to medium and let it simmer without stirring until it reaches a temperature of 220 degrees. And then you remove it from the heat and let it cool for at least 15 minutes while we prepare the rest of the ingredients. So I'll show you what this looks like so far. This is the lemon rind and sugar and cinnamon. And it's almost to a boil. Okay, that water and sugar and lemon and cinnamon has reached a temperature of 220 degrees, so I've taken it off the heat and set it to the side. And it says to let it cool at least 15 minutes while you make the next step. So I scalded the milk, and to that I added the flour and salt, and whisked it together real good until it was starting to thicken up. And then I added the egg yolks, and I whisked that until it's combined, and added the vanilla. So that's where I'm at right now. Now for the next step, I've turned the heat off on this egg mixture. So the next step says to remove the cinnamon and lemon rind from the syrup that's cooling over there. And in a thin, steady stream, pour the syrup into the egg flour mixture, whisking constantly. And the custard will be very thin, and this is normal. So that's my next step. It's not been quite 15 minutes yet. I've got another 5 minutes for that to sit there and cool before I remove the lemon rinds and the cinnamon sticks. So we'll be back. Okay, I've cleaned my board and I'm going to let it dry for a little bit. But I'm going to work my puff pastry now. So the next direction says, on a lightly floured work surface, roll the pastry dough out to roughly 11 by 14 inches, rectangle. Beginning at the short end, roll up the pastry dough, rolling it tightly as you go along. Wrap the pastry roll in plastic wrap and refrigerate for at least 2 hours. And then after it's refrigerated, we assemble the tarts. So that's all I'm going to do. When this board dries good, I'll take this out and roll it out to 11 by 14, start with the short end and roll it up, and then refrigerate it. Tomorrow we'll be ready to make the tarts. Joe has made his cornbread, just came out of the oven, and he's going to his men's potluck, monthly potluck, and that's what he takes. So while he's gone, I'm going to eat leftover fried cabbage and onions. May open a can of beans to go with those. So
delicious.
Joe's opening his expensive birthday gift.
It's supper time. The clouds are gathering in. Look at that beautiful. Let's see. What is that? $2.75 looks like. I'm impressed. Very impressed. Nothing but the best. Thank you so much.
He keeps complaining he can't see, so went to a higher power of reading glasses from the Dollar Tree because he is constantly losing them or breaking them, so that's where he gets his reading glasses from.
Yes, I do, and I'm very thankful.
All right, Kent Clark, put them on.
Yeah, I've got to be careful here. I don't want to break it.
We'll take the tag off later.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what I'll get here. All right. All of them are 275s.
Mm-hmm.
And I can read perfectly.
You gonna look at me?
Well, my dear, what do you think?
I think they work.
They're worth every bit of it.
Mm-hmm. Happy birthday, honey.
Thank you so much for being there for me.
All right, let's get ready and we'll get the convertible out and we'll go eat lunch of your choosing.
All right.
All right, for Joe's birthday lunch, we came on an adventure, and we thought we'd never find this place, but we are at Hickory Tree Grocery and Grill in the Hickory Tree community of Bluff City. And it's so pretty and quaint in here. And we came because we thought they had shrimp and grits on Tuesday special, but they told us that they recently moved it to Saturday because so many people were wanting to try it and they couldn't come during the week. So we're waiting on our food, and Joe has a chili bun and fry, and then I have a burger and fry. So we're waiting on our food. Bear paw pointing to the trash. A small town is like a big family.
The talented, knowledgeable person. I do too.
And pictures of their customers all over the wall. And fresh picked flowers on every table. How pretty. Joe said he was going to get an Uber because I evidently missed my turn and we took a scenic route to get here. And they just brought our food. Joe has a chili bun. They're bringing his fry. And I had a cheeseburger and fry. Beautiful day for a convertible ride, isn't it, honey?
Yes, it is. Flat out against teaching up here.
Joe's birthday today. Happy birthday. I can't sing. Allergies are got my throat.
I was looking at good parts and pieces of a lot of different things because